Hello, hello. Hope everyone's having a good day. Hello, Buko here. I'm here today because I want to share my love of this beautiful, beautiful series of volleyball. Haikyuu. Yeah, so Haikyuu is my favorite anime ever made. Ever. Oh, hello, hello. How's it going? Wait, let me fix the chat a bit. As always, I can never just have a simple chat. Oh, never mind. Okay, I can make this one bigger. Hang on, give me a chotto matte ne. This one can be a bit bigger. There you go. Hello. So today we're talking about Haikyuu, okay? It's just gonna be me yapping about Haikyuu for I don't know how long. It's gonna be like I don't know how long I expect this stream to be, but it's gonna be kind of long. So brace yourselves. I literally just watched an episode of Haikyuu. I was just rewatching the first episode right before this stream because I wanted to like prep myself, you know what I mean? I wanted to get prepared to talk about it. And what better time is it now than now, right? So I have this like tier list set up. I even arranged it because like before it was all like randomized, but now here I can talk about every single character in the order that I want to talk about them. Yeah. So okay, I need to have like some caveats though. So I am a die-hard Haikyuu super fan. I love Haikyuu. I would say that it's my favorite anime of all time, but it has already ended. The manga is already over, but I haven't read the end of the manga yet. So I don't know anything past the Nekoma spoilers. And the reason for that is because I wanted to somehow showcase my genuine first reactions to the Nekoma match and future arcs of the manga on this channel. Like if I was gonna have a YouTube channel, then I would want to dedicate some of that to Haikyuu because I freaking love this anime, right? So because of that, whenever I talk about a character, especially the Nekoma characters, right? All the Nekoma characters, I'm not going to be talking about the match because I haven't watched it yet. I am planning to, in the future, upload a video where I just react to the whole movie. I'll edit it in a way where it can get past YouTube copyright. But yeah, just keep that in mind. Like, that's a plan for the future. And for this stream right now, I'm only going to be talking about everything up to the Inarizaki match. Yeah. So that's that. What else? What else is there to say before I get started? I should mention I've watched Haikyuu, like the anime, everything that's aired. I've watched it 5 times. So I've watched the whole series 5 times, and I've rewatched season 2, like the 25 episode season 2, probably about 10 times because I think that's my favorite one, just because of the whole journey. I would even go so far as to say that season 2 of Haikyuu is my favorite 25 episode season of anime ever. Like I could say that. I don't think I have any other anime that would top that, to be honest. But yeah, so that's all that. So the question is, how am I gonna order this? I am gonna order all of these characters by how much I like them. Like, there's no way to be objective, right? There's no way to be an objective ranker. I guess it's just about like, I guess I could do a skill-based tier list of how good I think each player is, but they all have different roles. They all have different like, you know, they all specialize in different parts. So it's not fair to rank Oikawa and Ushiwaka, right? Because they do different things. Even though they're both captains. Let's see. Yeah. So it's basically I'm ranking it based on how much I like them, how much I think they add to the story, and how much they've impacted me personally. Which you can imagine that a lot of the Karasuno members are gonna be super high up, just because they're the most developed, right? Like, we follow Karasuno's journey the most, so it's only natural that their characters would have a bigger impact on me. Except for the benchwarmer squad. Like, I'm sorry, Enoshita, Kinoshita, Narita. Sorry, but well, actually, Enoshita has like a lot of development, I would say. But Kinoshita and Narita, especially Narita, he doesn't have a lot of development, so he hasn't really impacted me. You're midway through the dumpster battle movie. Oh, really? Really? Yeah, so I'm planning to release a video where I react to the Gomisteba no Kessen movie. It's when you say it in English, it sounds really weird, like the battle at the dumpster. But I guess it sounds more epic in Japanese. Gomisteba no Kessen. Okay, anyway. So I've arranged it like Karasuno first, and all of the Karasuno friends, I would categorize them as, would go after that. And then I talk about Seijo, and then Nekoma, and then Dateko, and then like the random people that they fought in the spring finals arc. Or no, it wasn't the Inter High, right? Haruko. Yeah, Haruko. The spring tournament. It's better to say it in Japanese, I get you. Yeah, exactly. It sounds way cooler in Japanese. Gomisteba no Kessen. Anyway, after that we have like Jozenji, and then I put the people from the what is it called? The Golden Week training arc, like Ubugawa, Shinzen. Oh, well, technically there's supposed to be another Shinzen guy, but I'll get to that. Fukurodani, obviously, up next, and then we have Shiratorizawa, and then Nohebi briefly, and then Itachiyama, Kamomedai, I think Tsubakihara, and then I finish it off with Inarizaki. So I can just like, okay, I've mentioned before that I haven't finished the manga, so I don't know who these people are. At the very bottom, I have no clue who these people are. Well, I got spoiled on who this one is, so I know this guy, but I'll put every other manga character here who hasn't gotten into the anime. I'll put them all in IDK because I literally don't know who they are. Okay. So, for starters, what better way to start this tier list than ranking Hinata Shoyo? So I have to put him at S tier. It's kind of cliche, but Hinata is the main character for a reason. Hinata is such a ray of sunshine. I was rewatching the first episode, and it's crazy to see how much he's grown. He's changed so much throughout the course of Haikyuu, and it's kind of shocking to see how little he knew at the start. For real, right? It's cool. It's cool to see how he's evolved. He's learned so much. At the start, he knew literally nothing about volleyball. He only knew how to receive, which is kind of the same thing as me, and I assume a lot of other people. When we, like, for a lot of people, Haikyuu was our first exposure to volleyball. I know it was mine at the very least. Volleyball was not on my radar at all. Before, I saw this as a sport so that like girls in bikinis would play. That's the only thing I thought of volleyball, sadly. Now I have like way more respect for it as a sport because of the work Furudate Haruichi put into writing this story. Yeah, same. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly. I'm embarrassed to say it now because it's so stupid. Like, volleyball is a real sport. It's an Olympic sport. And this is the show that made me realize this. So I credit Haikyuu for giving me like a deep, deep appreciation for the sport as a whole. And Hinata is the vessel with which this story delivers that message. He was still pretty bad at receiving through, though, in season 1. He was bad at receiving up until the Inarizaki match. Like, Hinata he's just like raw talent, right? He has the potential. For the longest time, he was the potential player. People saw like, okay, he can jump really high. Yes, he's short, but he makes up for it with pure speed. And he made up for that by just working hard and just learning everything from every rival that he's fought throughout his whole career as a first year. Like, you have to remember, he's still in his first year. He has grown so much for 1 year of volleyball, right? And obviously it's an anime thing, but he's a very fast learner, just like a crow. Like, the whole thing with crows and Karasuno as a whole is that crows are omnivorous. They eat everything and they kind of absorb all the knowledge of all of their rivals. And he definitely took that to heart because he's just been learning. He never stops growing, and he's kind of inspired me to do the same in my own life. Like, I just want to keep learning things in this world because he has that infectious joy. So, and he's also really stupid, don't get me wrong. Hinata is like Hinata and Kageyama, when they're together, their antics are fucking comedy gold, right? Like, but when you like really boil it down, Hinata is a very, very commendable person. He's still in his first year of high school, yet he's put himself out there, and he kind of does what a lot of people want to do, where he just, when he has a goal, he just does it, you know? Yeah, yes, you need this motivation in my life for real. He's like your motivation. So obviously S tier. That all this is to say, S tier. And you know what's crazy? Sorry, I'm just gonna be talking about Hinata. I don't want to talk about just Hinata throughout this whole stream, but Hinata, I realized in the first episode, rewatching it, he actually lives in a different town than Karasuno, like the high school. So every morning, he bikes to school, and every afternoon he bikes back from school. And all this is because he wanted to go to school in Karasuno. So he puts in the effort to bike to school, and I'm pretty sure he has to bike through like a mountain pass. In one of the endings, it shows him biking through a mountain pass, and then also I think near the end of the first episode, where it shows him entering Karasuno for the first time, he actually bikes. It shows him his bike path to Karasuno. So the fact that he is motivated to not only play volleyball but also bike all that way to school every day is insanity. Sorry, I'm going on a rant, but Hinata is fucking amazing just for that alone. He has like unlimited stamina, and it's even a point in during like the spring training arc, or sorry, the Golden Week training arc or something. Like, everybody else is tired, but him and Kageyama are ready to go. These two have like no, they just have energy for days. They're just like, they're volleyball idiots. That's what they call them, like the volleyball bakas, right? But it's crazy how much energy he has for the sport of volleyball, just because he loves what he does. And I think all of us can learn a good lesson from Hinata in that way. Like, if you love what you do, you will devote all the energy to it. It's not tiring. So yeah, he's the GOAT. He's the best. He's my favorite main character in a sports anime or series ever. And he deserves the S tier. Kageyama is also going... This is so fucking cliche. Kageyama is also S tier. Oh, I didn't want this to happen. I'm gonna rate... At this rate, I'm gonna put every single Karasuno member in S. This is unfair. They're the main characters. Like, I'm attached to them, but Kageyama and Hinata are basically like... So Kageyama is like the deuteragonist, right? He's the secondary protagonist. So Haikyuu is almost as much his story as it is Hinata's. And that's like, I guess they're color-coded that way because Karasuno's colors are black and orange. Hinata's the orange, Kageyama's the black, you know? So, I don't know. It's kind of hard not to put him in S tier because, well, okay, on a skill-based level, Kageyama is so fucking broken. He is so stupidly good at the sport of volleyball, it makes me sick. And that's why Oikawa fucking hates Kageyama, because Kageyama accomplished basically almost exactly what Oikawa did. Oikawa took 3 years to accomplish what Kageyama did in 1, arguably. Well, not really. Oikawa's a better leader. He's better at leading people. Like, Oikawa can literally go into a team and start leading them, but Kageyama's not a people person, so he doesn't really have social skills like that. It's funny how dumb he is in normal life, but in volleyball he's a genius. Yeah. Yeah, he's like a what do you call it, he's like a savant. I think that's what they're called. He's like a volleyball savant. He's like, the only thing he's good at is volleyball, which you kind of have to respect him for. So yeah, basically, like, Kageyama, how can I not put him at S tier? His whole story arc of how he was like a cruel, like, king of the court in middle school. He basically, all he cared about was winning. He didn't care about his teammates. He didn't care about anything other than, you know, just do what he says, you know, because he's the best player on the team, so you should just do what he says and you'll win, right? But obviously, like, Kunimi over here and Kindaichi, they did not like that approach to volleyball because it was it's too stressful. Like, they're middle schoolers, right? Like, nobody's trying to do that. Nobody's trying to do all that in a fucking middle school volleyball match, right? But he's actually a really good fit for Karasuno because they actually have the drive to win, except for Tsukishima at first. But, you know, I also should mention, I didn't rewatch Haikyuu for this. This is all going off of my memory. Last time I rewatched Haikyuu was 2 years ago, I would say. Well, I did rewatch the first episode, but not anything after that. So last time I watched the whole series was 2 years ago. So forgive me if I misremember things or get things wrong. But Kageyama, his whole story was interesting because at first he was trying to make up for being this dictator, king of the court, the cruel king, let's say. And basically his whole arc in season 1 was learning how to be a people person. But then in season 4, and like being a good king worked out for Karasuno for 3 seasons. Basically 2 seasons actually. In season 2 and 3, Kageyama was a really good setter because he was kind of changing his what do you call it? He was changing his patterns, he was changing his style of volleyball in order to lift his teammates up, right? But in season 4, Atsumu over here, Mia Atsumu, he tells Kageyama that, well, you're better than that. You're better than that strategy. You could actually, instead of changing your habits to lift your team up, you can like try and pull your team up to meet your standard of volleyball. That's basically what Mia Atsumu told Kageyama when he called him like goody two shoes. So yeah, that whole arc was amazing because, and even Hinata, when Hinata recrowned Kageyama as the new king of the court, the good king, let's say, you really could tell that Kageyama felt accepted for the first time, that he could be his old king of the court persona, but now he has a team that will meet his standards, let's say, and be good in volleyball for him. Well, not for him, for all of them. Basically, I don't know what I'm trying to say. But yeah, basically Kageyama S tier, he has probably one of the most compelling story arcs in Haikyuu, second only to Tsukishima, who is S tier. See, oh fuck, I swear not everyone is gonna go in S tier, okay? I promise. What's the point of all these other ratings if I'm just gonna put everyone in S tier? Oh boy. Well, as I was saying, Kageyama's story arc is second only to Tsukishima's story arc. I think Tsukishima is a very unique character when it comes to sports anime. Because in a lot of sports anime, you have people who just love the sport unequivocally, right? Basically, like Tsukishima's whole story arc was he doesn't like volleyball that much, like as much as the other team members, let's say. And let's be real, most of us who are in a high school volleyball team, we don't want, it's not like a life or death thing, you know. I mean that's how it would be realistically, right? Most of us would just be in it for exercise and for other things. So Tsukishima starts out as kind of that person, but then he grows into something else. He just develops into the most reliable middle blocker ever. Like he how do I like condense all my thoughts about Tsukishima? The spring training arc with Bokuto and all these fucking guys was just as much development for Hinata and Kageyama as it was for Tsukishima, right? Because you got to understand that Tsukishima has his own hang-ups with volleyball. Like he isn't just a person who doesn't care. He is a person who really cares, but he doesn't want to get his heart broken like his brother did, basically. Now the difference is that Tsukishima is a more talented player than his brother, at what he does. So his brother was an ace, I believe, in middle school, and Tsukishima was never an ace, but he was just like super tall. He like had natural game sense for volleyball. So he became like the best middle blocker that Karasuno ever has. Well, the best middle blocker that Karasuno has in their current roster. He became their defensive expert. But I like seeing his journey. In the first season, his energy is like he doesn't want to be there at all. He just doesn't care about anything, and he just starts shit with other people for no reason. I remember when they had that like practice match against Seijo in like episode 6 or something. This was before Asahi joined the team, by the way. Tsukishima was like starting shit with people in Seijo. That just goes to show how much of a little asshole he is. That's his personality. But then he gets like this inferiority complex with Hinata. Like he's just in the background for most of season 1, to be honest, after the first few episodes. And then he starts being like, don't worry, Hinata's the one who will take the spotlight, and I will rotate behind. And okay, what's there's like a metaphor. Like Tsuki is the moon and Hinata is the sun. Hinata means sun, Tsuki means moon. So they like rotate. They're I don't know volleyball that much, to be honest, even after watching Haikyuu's seasons and reading the manga. But they're middle blockers. They're on the same like whenever Hinata rotates out, Tsukishima is there to basically swap to like a defensive formation. So that when Hinata can't attack, Tsukishima will cover up all the holes in their defense, which there are many. There are many holes in their defense. We'll get to that later. But yeah, Tsukishima has one of the most compelling character arcs. Again, I can't forget to mention the moment where he kill blocks Ushiwaka. Like, that was insane. To our knowledge, nobody in the prefecture has ever kill blocked Ushiwaka for the entire 3 years he's been at Shiratorizawa, to our knowledge. And Tsukishima, this random first year that nobody knows, he was inspired to after Bokuto gave him that speech about, well, all it takes is one moment to make you truly fall in love with volleyball, and that was Tsukishima's moment. I remember when I was after season 2 of Haikyuu, I went ahead and read the manga. So I read the Shiratorizawa match in the manga before it got adapted into an anime. And at the time, I was staying in a hotel with my mom and dad. And basically, when I got to the part where Tsukishima kill blocks Ushiwaka, I literally started running and jumping and like going like, yes, he did it. And I started crying, and my parents were like, what's wrong? What's happening? And then I was like, don't worry. I'm just reading a manga. I'm just reading a comic. Don't worry about it. So that's Tsukishima. He affected me so much because there is not a single character. Sorry, I need to collect my thoughts. There's not a single character in Haikyuu there's not a single character in a sports anime that fills the role of him. He's there to offer a realistic perspective of what it's like to be in a sports anime, where, this is just a club, what's it? Tada no bukatsu. It's just a club. It's just a club, bro. Don't take it too seriously. But then he develops into a person that does take it as seriously as these two. That's perfect. Perfect character arc, perfect evolution, transformation. Now, I bet you're all wondering, okay, so I've put all of them at S tier, right? So Yamaguchi is surely not as good as these top 3, right? That's like a common sentiment, that Yamaguchi is not, is like, he's like a low tier or like mid tier character. Yamaguchi goes to the top of my S tier. Yamaguchi is my second favorite character in Haikyuu. I like Yamaguchi more than Hinata, Kageyama, and Tsukishima. I'll just let you process that for a minute, because I was once asked by someone, hey, who do you kin in Haikyuu? And at the time I was like, what does kinning mean? Like, what does that mean, kin? And apparently when you kin a character, it's like which character do you see yourself as the most? And the character that I see myself as the most is Yamaguchi. Yamaguchi is so much like who I am in real life. I'm nowhere near as motivated as Hinata. I'm not as naturally talented as Kageyama or Tsukishima, for that matter. But I'm about as skilled as Yamaguchi, and I also have his personality, where, you know, he has like an inferiority complex. He gets anxious really badly. His anxiety gets to him a lot, and he's not as talented as his friends, let's say, but that doesn't stop him from trying to do his best. And that always stuck with me, because that is me. I am not a talented person. I'm not good at things, but that doesn't stop me from wanting to try my best anyway. And I learned that lesson because of Yamaguchi. Because Yamaguchi made the express decision to be an asset to the team. He wasn't like, what is it called? He's like an active character. He's not a passive character and he lets the plot unfold around him. No, he makes the decision that he doesn't want to be left behind by this insanely talented crop of first years. So Yamaguchi makes the decision to go talk to Shimada over here. And Yamaguchi learns how to be a pinch server, which I don't know if it's as game-changing in real life as it is in Haikyuu, because Haikyuu makes Yamaguchi's pinch serving look like a superpower sometimes. But like the reality is that nobody in Karasuno can do a float serve. So, well, until Kinoshita learns it over here, but we'll get to him. But until Kinoshita learned how to float serve, Yamaguchi stepped up, and he for the Inarizaki match, he's still better than Kinoshita because Yamaguchi started earlier, learning how to be a good server. I also think that Yamaguchi's relationship with Shimada is very, very underrated. They have such a good friendship. I love any scene where they're together. The scene where... Okay, wait. I might be getting a bit too ahead of myself. I might talk about that one scene that I want to talk about when I get to Shimada, but... Well, basically, I love their friendship. The fact that Shimada sees Yamaguchi as like his protege means a lot to me. And the fact that like side characters have such compellingly written relationships is just a testament to how good Furudate Haruichi is as a writer. But wait, I'll get to that later. My all-time favorite episode of Haikyuu is season 2, episode 22, like the cowards fight back or something. There's like different translations for that episode, but it's basically the episode where Yamaguchi is called up to be a pinch server during the Seijo match. Well, during the rematch, let's say. And there was a lot of build up to this moment because he was called up to be a pinch server during the Wakutani Minami match. These guys over here. And he failed. He got one serve in by pure chance. He was happy about that, but he knew that it was just luck, right? And then after that, he abandoned his float serve because he didn't think it would go in. Oh yeah, sorry. There's even more build up to that because in the first Seijo match in season 1, he was called up to pinch serve, but he hadn't really practiced back then. And he failed. Like he botched that pinch serve. And I think Ukai Coach Ukai, he even thought that maybe that was a mistake because that moment would kind of haunt Yamaguchi for a while. That's another reason why I feel like kinship with Yamaguchi, because I remember mistakes like that I made way back in my youth that have no bearing to who I am today, but I still think about it and they still stick with me for better or worse. But the fact that he was able to come back from all of that, he was able to gather the courage enough to support his team at a time where they put all of their faith and trust into Yamaguchi's hard work. That is so beautiful. I remember the episode where you could see the whole team rally behind Yamaguchi. Like they supported him because they could see how hard Yamaguchi was working throughout the entire show. And they knew that this was his moment to shine. And they were going to do everything in their power to keep him in the serving position. Especially Tsukishima. This is so... Oh man. I also love Yamaguchi and Tsukishima's relationship because there's that moment during the spring training arc where Yamaguchi calls Tsukishima out when Tsukishima asks, like, why do you guys take it so seriously? It's just a club. And then Yamaguchi's like, Pride igai ni nani ga iru nda? Something like that, right? And then Tsukishima's like, man, Yamaguchi, you actually became a lot cooler. Like, for the longest time, I thought that Tsukishima didn't really care about Yamaguchi. He only kept him around because Yamaguchi, like, always put Tsukishima up on a pedestal. But you could tell when they're playing that Tsukishima really considers Yamaguchi his best friend. Like, the fact that he, like, up until that point, but like this was pre-Shiratorizawa match, right? Tsukishima hadn't showcased himself going all out yet in an official match, but he put in 100% of his energy to getting the ball, like to keeping the ball in the court and making sure that Yamaguchi had more opportunities to serve. Because Tsukishima, he has such a good line where it's like he's worked harder than anybody else. And then Yamaguchi like almost cries. So fucking good. I'm getting emotional just remembering it. So that all happens in episode 22 of season 2. I rewatched that episode during the most stressful moments of my life, to be honest. It's my favorite episode. I watched it before stressful exams. I watched that before high tension presentations. I watched that to prepare for myself for super stressful, basically like sink or swim situations, because Yamaguchi managed to gather the courage and face his fears during his sink or swim situation. So that's why he's always gonna be my number one. Actually, there's only one other person who could rival him, but he might be my number one favorite character just because of how he has impacted me personally. Okay, well, this tier list is a sham because Daichi, Sawamura Daichi, is also going in S tier. Oh my fucking god. This is... I swear, look, we have so many other characters. Not all of them are going to be in S tier. The S tiers are like front loaded, basically. Most of them are in Karasuno, so it is what it is. Daichi is right behind Yamaguchi in S tier because he is the most reliable player on the team. It's him and Nishinoya. Without these two, Karasuno's defense falls flat on their faces. These two are picking up the slack for everyone's like lack of defensive ability, especially at the beginning. Like Karasuno in season 1, they like are pretty much all offense, no defense. Like Tsukishima hadn't come into his own, so their blocking was not bad, but not good. Daichi was there to be the support group, the support structure of the whole team, like a true captain should. Out of all, like, we see many different kinds of captains throughout the series. Like, we have Oikawa, Kuro, we have Futakuchi eventually, Hiroshima, we have Bokuto, we have Ushiwaka, and then we have Ita, Shinsuke. All those have, and I assume Sakusa is a captain as well, but I don't know anything about him yet. But they all exhibit some sort of leadership quality. I would say Daichi is most similar to Kita Shinsuke in that regard, but Daichi's whole philosophy as a leader is that he needs to be the ground that they walk on. He needs to be a solid foundation for the rest of their team to just go wild, right? I think there's that really good match. There's that really good moment during the Jozenji match where Daichi is in front of the Jozenji banner because like the previous team captain for Jozenji was a lot like Daichi. But ever since like their previous team captain moved on, their team philosophy changed drastically, right? So Daichi was in front of the banner that said simplicity and fortitude. Yeah. So Daichi, that's Daichi's whole ethos as a player. He's not crazy. He's not the most flashy player, but he's a solid rock that you can always count on. That's why people call him like Daddy Daichi, right? Daddy Daichi is super important for the team in that regard. And he is the person I most look up to. Like, Yamaguchi is who I am, and Daichi is who I want to be. That's basically my whole opinion of these two. So yeah, these two at number one. They're my two favorite characters in the whole story, followed closely by these three because they're so well developed. Also, Daichi. Okay, I did say that I haven't read past the Nekoma arc, but I heard that Daichi and Michimiya don't end up together. That is a fucking crime because they are so cute together. They should end up together. Like, I don't like romance in Haikyuu at all, period. But this is the one romantic couple I support wholeheartedly. Daichi and Michimiya, they belong together. They are so fucking cute. Anytime they have a scene together, I'm grinning like an idiot. So I'll get to Michimiya later, but missed opportunity by Furudate sensei. Next one, Sugawara. Right, Suga goes in A or B? I would say A. So Suga goes in A because I don't think a lot of people realize how emotionally mature Suga is. Like with a lot of other players, they would not relinquish their spot as the main setter or the starting setter because like they want to play more volleyball, right? Especially since if it's your last year, if you're a third year, you would not want to give up your spot as the starting setter. But Sugawara understands that Kageyama is a better setter than him, and he understands that in order for the team to grow, Kageyama needs to start. So there's that really good moment in season 1 where Suga actually goes to Coach Ukai and talks to him and says like, hey, Kageyama should be the main setter for the team. And then Ukai is like, wow, Sugawara, I really respect you for that. Because not a lot of people can make that decision for the good of the team. Like, I don't know, it's... I have so much respect for Suga. And you know what's funny? Wait. Here, this is a little... I'm gonna do something that I've never done on this channel before. Take a look at this. So, this is what my hair was supposed to look like originally. My hair looked like this at the... This was the first design for my character, and it was inspired by Suga's hairstyle. This is what I was supposed to look like at first, but then I chose to change my hairstyle to this instead, which I think was better. I think this is a better look overall. It's more eye-catchy, but like part of me wonders how my channel would be if I kept this hairstyle. It's a completely different vibe, right? I think I've sort of like, I've retconned it to be like, this is my hairstyle when I don't have my like flame power activated or whatever. So, yeah, but I'm sure like people would, if people saw this, they're like, who is this? Who is... I've never met this man before in my life. Yeah, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. I just like Suga's hair. But yeah, he goes in A. One of the most emotionally mature people in Haikyuu as a whole. And he is always there. He's always there supporting the team whenever they need him. Like whenever he rotates in, the other teams hate it because they don't know what the team is gonna do. It's like their whole strategy changes into like 15,000 variables once Suga enters. Because like he's way more chill than Kageyama. He doesn't have the pressure of Kageyama's setting for the other team, and also he is really good strategist. He's really good at making plays and carrying them out, basically. And he has faith that his teammates can do that. So yeah, Suga goes in A. And same for Asahi. Asahi goes in A, obviously. Well, first of all, before we say anything about Asahi, we can just say like, rest in peace Asahi's character design, because his character design peaked in season 2 and season 3, where he had the long hair and like the Jesus hairband. That was like the best look for Asahi ever. But then it fell off a fucking cliff when it got into season 4 or to the top, where he now looks, he glowed down. Imagine having a glow down. That's insane. They ruined his hairstyle. They ruined his hairstyle completely. I feel so bad for Asahi. Like, they did not have to do my boys dirty like this, right? And I get that they made it like that so that it's easier to draw. I can imagine that the long hair and the hairband was kind of rough, kind of difficult to draw at times. So that's why they simplified it, but still, that doesn't mean I have to like it. So Asahi, he has a really good arc. I won't say it's that unique because the Kuroko no Basket has a similar character arc with I forget his name, Ipe, something like that. Where he is like a senior in the sport. He's way taller than everyone else, way stronger and more reliable. Just his presence on the team like lifts the team morale, right? And that's Asahi's role. He's the ace of Karasuno, right? So that means that whenever there's like a botched receive, Asahi is always there to spike it no matter what. And that actually gave him a really good character arc where he was overcoming the iron wall. This was like a good, where's the Aone? Yeah, Dateko. I remember Dateko was like a sub boss. Dateko was like a sub boss in a Mario level before you got to Bowser, which was Seijo. Asahi had his own personal triumph when he broke through the iron wall and he managed to just, win against Dateko in season 1. That was such a good moment. And him rediscovering his love for volleyball, that's really a good story as well. And you got to see his this trio, you saw them go through shit. Like in the Shiratorizawa match, you got the flashback where they were still first years and they had to deal with a Karasuno who was at the lowest point they've ever been power-wise, right? Where Karasuno was like, ochita kyogo tobenai karasu. Something like that. It's like crows that have fallen giants or whatever. Yeah, so the fact that he, Daichi, and Suga stick together through it all is so commendable. I loved when that part in season 3 when they finally won against Shiratorizawa, and then Daichi and Asahi and Sugawara all hug each other crying. They hug each other first before the rest of their teammates hug anyone. Like, that was so fucking beautiful. I'm getting teary-eyed just remembering it. Oh God, I love Haikyuu. Okay, sorry. Yeah, okay. Time to cry. Time to cry, I guess. I love Haikyuu so much. It's hard not to love a story once they put so much thought into the writing and the characters. But yeah, that moment was so earned. And I don't know. Asahi is always so reliable. The fact that he chose to learn how to jump serve because he knew that basically besides Kageyama and Yamaguchi, nobody else in Karasuno was a serving threat, right? So the fact that Asahi made that decision proves he is worthy of being the ace of Karasuno, right? Speaking of the ace of Karasuno, we got to the man. That now brings us to the man who is the successor to the Ace of Karasuno. Tanaka has a mind of steel. He obviously is going in A, but Tanaka has such a great mindset. He's not as skilled as a lot of other people here. I would say he's about as talented as like maybe Suga. But he always puts himself down. He has that really for the majority of the Haikyuu series, Tanaka is just like a funny comedy relief, right? He hits on Kyoko, it fails, we laugh, right? Or he says some stupid shit with Noya and we laugh, right? That was Tanaka's character for a majority of the first season up to the third. But there are some moments that shows that he has a lot deeper things going on. Like in the first Seijo match, which I think a lot of people overlook because the rematch was so much better. But during the first Seijo match, they target Tanaka because they think if Tanaka falls, the morale of the whole team will plummet like to the ground. And Tanaka wouldn't let that happen. He knew that in order to keep the morale's team high, he had to keep his own morale high. And it takes a special kind of person to really consider that, right? Tanaka is such an amazing character, and he has that moment in season 4 during the Inarizaki match where they do the same thing. They target him. They see him as the clear morale booster of the team, and they think if they beat him, he will just self-destruct and the whole team will implode from there. But he doesn't let that happen. He maintains his composure and he gets his morale back by he was doing like that cut shot. Basically he saw during the spring training arc, he saw Bokuto do that insane cut shot, cut spike, and then he ever since tried practicing that move, and he managed to do it perfectly here in the Inarizaki match. And he also managed to get a super straight shot as well, right on the line at very crucial moments. So not only was he able to bring himself back from like a state of depression, basically, he was able to prove to himself that he is a worthy member of the team, and he's worthy of being the next ace after Asahi, because he has the mindset for it. He has the reliable nature for it. So yeah, Tanaka A, Nishinoya S. I told you it would all be front loaded because I put the most important Karasuno members front and center first, and then everybody else gets like second. Yeah, Nishinoya S tier. How can you not love Nishinoya? Nishinoya is like Hinata if he's like Hinata dialed to 11, because I mean he's short like Hinata, and he acknowledges that well I can never be a good spiker because I can't jump high. Or no, he probably can jump high, but he realizes that his talents are better served as a libero, you know? And it's great that we learn about the role of a libero through Noya, because one, they look pretty cool. They have the alternate color of the jersey, so they stand out naturally. But also the fact that Noya, he has just like, besides Tanaka, he is the mood lifter. Oh, and Hinata as well. These three are the mood lifters of Karasuno. Whenever they get depressed, Noya is there to focus up, lock in, and bring them back. Like they would have fallen flat on their faces against Shiratorizawa if Noya wasn't there. to receive Ushiwaka's spikes, because they developed that strategy, right, to basically funnel Ushiwaka into one half of the court, or like one part of the court, and narrow the space that Noya has to receive in. So yeah, Noya is like god libero. He is an amazing libero, so reliable, and he eventually learns how to jump set. Like he saw Watari, I believe his name is. He saw Watari do it during the first Seijo match, and during the spring training arc with all these people again. He learns how to jump set, not reliably, but just enough where it could be used against Seijo. And yeah, that provides like such a good asset to the team. There's like a different that opens up so many strategies for Kageyama to make use of. Like Nishinoya can set, and then there's 5 spikers if you include Kageyama, basically. Anyway, after that, what else? What else can I say about Noya? I would mention in the Inarizaki match, he has that backstory that shows his childhood with his grandpa, but we don't really, if we're being honest, we don't find out things about Noya that we didn't already know. Like, I guess we found out that he was a scaredy cat as a kid, but he got over that pretty quickly. It wasn't as meaningful of a character change as like Tsukishima, or heck, even Yamaguchi. Like, Yamaguchi is still very much a scaredy cat, but he has the courage to overcome his fears. As far as we know, Noya was a scaredy cat as a kid, and then he just got over them like that because of his Giga Chad grandpa or uncle. I could be wrong about the grandpa thing. He looked old, but yeah, that's Noya. S tier because he just leaves an impression on you, right? He just sticks in your mind after you watch the show. You can never forget about Noya. Ennoshita, he's the only one of the bench warmers that I would put in A tier. Because Ennoshita has that really good moment during the Wakutani Minami match. Let's see, where are these people? Yeah, these guys. Like, there's that moment where Daichi fucking died. Well, okay, it's a meme, right? He didn't actually die, but there's that moment where Ennoshita has to basically pick up the slack and fill in for Daichi while he's away. So in that sense, he did a really good job. He has one of the most relatable backstories ever in Haikyuu, where he basically could not handle the training regimen under Ukai. So he and like basically all the bench warmers, as well as 2 others that quit the volleyball club eventually, they stopped going to practice, and he basically realized that skipping practice was worse than going to it and failing. Which that's so real. Like, I'm sure we've all had moments where we wanted to just skip out on something and then we just felt bad afterwards. So, trying to do something and failing and being exhausted is better than not trying at all. And that's what I learned from Ennoshita. Now, unfortunately, as far as I know, Ennoshita hasn't really done anything since the Wakutani Minami match. The Wakunan match. Like, I'm just gonna call it Wakunan since it's easier. He hasn't done shit since Wakunan, so I can't really put him anything higher than... I think A, people would even consider A a bit high for Ennoshita, but it is what it is. He had a very impactful couple of episodes during the Wakunan match, and then after that, he just disappeared. I don't really know what he's doing now. He didn't really do much in the Inarizaki match. Because again, Daichi was not injured. Daichi was not killed. So, you know, Enoshita doesn't really have anything to do. I hope that in a future arc, Enoshita can pop off a bit more. Again, I haven't watched the Nekoma match. Hopefully, he pops off. He has a moment to shine in the Nekoma match, but I'm not holding my breath. I don't expect anything from that. Now we have Kinoshita. So Kinoshita goes in B. So, well, actually, yeah, well, I really like Kinoshita's one episode in season 4. He basically shares it with Noya. It's like Hero, I think that's what the episode is called. But he has a good moment where he basically goes to pinch serve, and he thinks that that's the best serve ever, and then it gets instantly countered, and they lose the point, and he's off the court. So that moment that he was hyping himself up for passes like nothing. Meanwhile, Yamaguchi's more reliable as a pinch server than he is, but you know, I respect the fact that he started learning how to pinch serve. That's very nice of him. It adds more strategic options for the team, even though he's not good at receiving. So I think he has to work at that. He has to work at the block and what's it called? The block, that serve and block, or serve and receive. That's the strategy that Dateko was using against Karasuno during their practice match in season 4. He needs to work on that. But I think as for the player that he is, he's all right, you know. Same can be said for Narita, who I'll put at C. So Narita, he's like a nothing burger. I'm sorry to say, but he doesn't leave that much of an impression. People forget that he's on the team. Well, people forget that all 3 guys are on the team. Even though literally there's a gap of numbers between Tanaka and was it Hinata? Hinata's 9. No, Kageyama. So Kageyama's 9. So 6, 7, and 8 are not worn by anybody else except these 3. And people forget that they're on the team still, even though they can clearly see the gap in numbers. But Narita, the only thing I remember of Narita is that he has basically when Tsukishima gets injured during the Shiratorizawa match, Narita fills in for him at the final set, which is very important because the final set was very, very close, neck and neck, basically. So yeah, it was very, very. He did his job, you know. Narita is the kind of player that, you know, he does his job. He doesn't stand out, but he doesn't make the team worse when he's on the field. So you gotta respect him for that. He's very good at being a middle blocker, but he's not very exceptional. And I think he himself knows that. He's like more than happy to warm the bench. Now we have Coach Keishin Ukai. So, okay, how do I like differentiate the two? So, okay, how about I'm gonna call this guy Ukai, or Ukai Sensei. I'm gonna call this guy Ukai Sensei, and then I'm gonna call him Coach Ukai, because yes, he's the coach for Karasuno in the past, but he's not the current coach, right? So, Keishin will go to A tier. Probably if we're ranking based on how much I like him, probably more than Asahi, I would say. Okay, maybe that's a bit harsh. Something like that. I think that's my ranking for the A tier for now. Keishin is such a good presence in Haikyuu. It's that cliche of like the coach not really wanting to coach, but then he does coach because he ends up liking the team that he's on. I think it's such a cliche in sports movies as a whole, or sports media. But yeah, Ukai gets this spot because he's like a very good coach actually. He knows exactly when to call a timeout. He is a bit rocky at the start, but then eventually he becomes such an integral part to Karasuno, right? There's no team without the coach, and he's very, very involved with all his players, to the point where he'll even think about strategies during his job at the I forget the name of the store, but it's the convenience store that he runs. While he's there, he's thinking up strategies for the team. You gotta respect that. Like even when he's clocked out, he's still thinking about this. I don't even think he gets paid. Let's be real. Like Takeda, recruited him, but I don't think it's ever mentioned that Ukai is getting paid. Boy. But he's just doing it because he's trying to carry on the legacy of his grandfather. So you gotta respect that. And I think he's doing a bang-up job. He is doing a great job at carrying on Ukai Sensei's legacy as, you know, the crow, the offensive powerhouse that, like, insane strategies. They come up with insane strategies and somehow eke out a win. Yeah. And obviously, I can't mention Coach Ukai without mentioning that amazing scene he has in season 3, where he's like, "Bare wa today ni umuku sports da," or something like that, right? I think I botched the Japanese, but basically, like, he has that speech, and apparently that's the voice actor's last recorded line as Ukai before he passed away, which is a beautiful final line to leave us off on. So in that sense, I have to keep Ukai at A, right? For sure. A for sure. Takeda goes in... I don't really like... He didn't leave that much of an impression on me. Like, Takeda Sensei is cute. He's adorable. He's just like a funny... technically... I forgot. Technically, Takeda Sensei is the coach. Officially, he's the head coach. And Coach Ukai is like the advisor, assistant coach, or something like that. But in practice, he's the advisor and he's the official coach. But yeah, Takeda Sensei, I love how proactive he is in wanting Karasuno to return to their former glory. Like, Takeda Sensei is there in the background of season 1, negotiating, making plays, like rehiring Heishin Ukai to take up the mantle of his grandfather, and trying to contact Nekomata Sensei for the practice match to motivate the team, and also getting Karasuno to join the spring training arc, basically, in Tokyo. Very, very vital, decisions that helped with the growth of the team, right? So, Takeda Sensei, you get a B for that. You legend, you. I respect you. I respect you so much. What else? What else do I have to say? Also, he has the best speeches in Haikyuu, because apparently he's like a literature teacher. So he's the one who comes up with all the metaphors, like crows being omnivorous, or like hogs falling into place, or black being the color where like you mix all the other team's colors and then they mix to form black, which is the color of Karasuno, and technically Inarizaki as well. But we'll get to that later. Yeah. Let's see. What else? Shimizu can go in B. as well. She's the same tier as Kinoshita and Takeda Sensei. She's a good like supporting character, really good. And she gives us she is our first insight into the role of a manager in Haikyuu. Right? Without Shimizu, especially in the first season, let's see, what is it? She makes the fly banner. Or no, she didn't make it, she found it in like the closet or something in the storage room of Karasuno. She's the one who proactively tries to motivate the whole team into doing their best. She tries to boost their morale and everything. She tolerates Tanaka's shenanigans, like even though it's kind of cringe, but she knows that like he doesn't mean any harm. What else? There's that really good. Well, she is the one who actively seeks out Yachi to take over her role as the manager, because she knows that she's a third year. She's not going to be here forever. So the fact that she is the one who seeks out Yachi, when I think Daichi is the one who sought her out in season 1. When they were first years. So I don't know if he was supposed to do that, or she just made the decision to do that for the betterment of the team. But the fact that she went out to go look for Yachi, very, very important. Very important for the future of the team. And she also has that really good backstory where she was a former track member, and like she kind of had that moment where she was, I don't know, it was kind of awkward, but like she was baton passing the role of manager to Yachi in that one scene during the Tokyo qualifiers arc. Yeah, basically that. Yachi, I like her. I would put her a bit higher above Shimizu. Probably, how much do I like Yachi's character? Probably like more than Asahi. Now, I do not like it when people ship Hinata and Yachi romantically. They're friends. They are friends. Men and women can have platonic friendships and have it be cute and wholesome. It doesn't have to be romantic. So that's what I feel about Yachi and Hinata's relationship. They are so freaking hilarious and adorable together. But they're in like a friendly way, you know? Their friendly shenanigans are such a treat to watch, you know? She's super funny, and I like that she had like a mini arc where she knew nothing about volleyball, and then she slowly turned to realize like, hey, you know, maybe volleyball is a sport that can be appreciated. Hey, I'm back. Hello, welcome back. Sorry, I was just talking my heart out about Haikyuu for the past like hour or something. Yeah, but as I was saying, Yachi, she is like a very integral part of the team. She's the future of the team. Like, they need a manager after Shimizu graduates, right? So Yachi is there to pick up the slack, and she is a pretty decent manager, as far as I know. Yeah, Yachi, I love Yachi. She's amazing. And like I said before, I think her and Hinata are platonic friends. I personally don't like it when people ship these two as a romantic couple. I think that they have such a good friendship, and it doesn't have to be anything more than that. Sometimes friendships are enough. But maybe other people have different feelings about that. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents on Yachi. She's great. She's great. She's hilarious. And whenever she freaks out over like scary situations, it's hilarious. It's so funny. Oh, next we have Tanaka's sister. I would say she's on the Yachi tier. Tanaka's sister can go like above Enoshita. Tanaka's sister is a badass. She is a beast. And you could clearly tell that it makes sense that she has the same tier as her brother, because she is a freaking beast. I love the fact that Tanaka's sister, oh my god, what's her name? I've forgotten her name completely. Let me just Google her name first. Saiko. Okay, I don't think that's ever brought up. Saiko ne-chan or something, or Saiko ne-san. Yeah, she's amazing. She's a bad driver, but like I wouldn't trust her to drive me to places safely. But you know, she is such a good morale boost for the team. I love how in okay, so for some backstory, in the anime of Haikyuu season 3, during the Shiratorizawa match, they have the whole Karasuno high school there cheering them, right? They basically bring, well, I don't know if it's the whole school or like just a few classes. They bring a lot of Karasuno students there to cheer. As far as I remember, that wasn't in the manga. In the manga, there was no Karasuno cheer section. There were people who came to watch and support Karasuno, but they didn't have like a dedicated cheering section, which is why Shiratorizawa's cheering section was so intimidating, because they brought like the whole school to go and cheer them on with their game. And the fact that Saiko, like, she hated being upstaged by the Shiratorizawa cheering section. So she and her like taiko drum squad rocked up during the Inarizaki match and put on like a pretty good battle of sound with Inarizaki during that match. So you have to respect Tanaka's sister for that, Saiko, I guess. Yeah, she's a badass, and I love her hairstyle. Okay, Ukai Sensei. We don't really see a lot of him, but what we do see, I would put him in B. He didn't have to train Hinata, right? Well, technically he did. Like, Heishin brought Hinata to Ukai in order for Hinata to learn about tempo, like minus tempo, first tempo, second tempo, third tempo, I think is the tempos. And then Ukai showed up during the Shiratorizawa match, as well as briefly Ogi Minami during the Ogi Minami, and oh my god, I forgot Hyakuzawa's school's name. sorry Hyakuzawa, the green school. He showed up there and he was like, wow, yo, maybe Karasuno is pretty good after all. Like, maybe they're not screwed with me not coaching. He's a hard ass, but I love the friendly rivalry he has with Nekomata sensei. Like, they're old geezers, but I think they symbolize very healthy rivalry, where sometimes your rival can be your best friend, you know? Like, you don't have to hate your rival. You can, they just need to be competitors with you. And their friendship is so wholesome to watch. And I cannot wait to see the payoff in the Battle of the Garbage Dump movie. So y'all know I'm gonna be watching that. I'm gonna watch that. I probably won't stream it, but I'm gonna watch that movie and then upload my reaction to it, completely edited, and yeah, it'll be like Haikyuu super fans first reaction to the Garbage Dump movie. Yeah, so that's that. What else can be said about Ukai? I think I've said everything I want to about Ukai Sensei. Hello, 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 welcome. Sorry, I was just finishing talking about Coach Ukai Sensei, like the old one, and talking about how I really can't wait to watch the Garbage Dump movie. I haven't watched the Garbage Dump movie yet, so hyped for that. Next one is Ikejiri. Okay, so realistically, Ikejiri does not have as much of an impact on the plot of Haikyuu, but in my opinion, he is a very important character for Haikyuu because he shows the perspective of a normal person, a normal fucking person, where he had dreams of, you know, being one of the best players in Japan or whatever, but he lacked the motivation to do the work that needed to be done in order to become one of the best. So while Daichi, like, okay, for people who don't remember, Ikejiri and Daichi were in the same class in middle school. We're in the same volleyball team in middle school. They were like friends. And Daichi went to Karasuno, Ikejiri went to Tokonami. I think it's Tokonami. And his team there was very meh. It was like not even that. It was like a whatever team, right? But that's only because they didn't put in the practice needed to be a good team. And in episode 16 of season 1, I believe it is, you get to see the perspective of the losers, which I think that is the episode that sets Haikyuu apart from other sports anime. There's a lot of sports anime, they don't really focus on the losers that much, but Haikyuu makes it a point to make you feel bad about the losing team. Like, you feel horrible for the losing team. You end up in this spot where you want every team to win, which is just not possible in like a sport, right? So because of that, and because of Ikejiri's effect on people who watch Haikyuu, well, some people, like, I'm not gonna say everyone gets impacted by that episode, but I got impacted by it. He gets A tier. I would say above Enoshita, and no, maybe a bit below Enoshita. I won't give him that much. Michimiya is adorable, but she's getting B. Speaking of the winners and losers episode, Michimiya was also kind of a focal point there because unlike the boys volleyball team of Karasuno, the girls volleyball team was never a powerhouse as far as I know. So Michimiya unfortunately had the role of leading a team that never had that legacy to uphold, so maybe they didn't feel motivated as much to go to practice. She basically falls into the same category as Ikejiri, or like 90% of teams that exist out there, where maybe there's one person in the team that's passionate about it, but the vast majority of the other players are just there for exercise. Or they're just there so that they have something to do after school, you know? And they don't really care about being the best, let's say. And like, it was so sad to see Michimiya cry in that episode, because she's such a positive person where you just want to see her like succeed as well. You want to see the girls team succeed alongside the boys team, but you know, I guess it wasn't in the cards for her. But it was still nice of her that she went and cheered on the boys team during their Shiratorizawa match. Her and her friends showing up to support Daichi was so fucking cute. I love the charm, the victory charm she gave to Daichi, and then Daichi holds it up after they win. It's so cute. I can't believe they didn't get together. That's some bullshit. But yeah, anyway, that's all I have to say about Michimiya, to be honest. B tier, but a good B tier. I would say higher than Kyoko. She left a deeper impact on me than Kyoko. Tsukishima's brother, I would say, uh, C. Let's say C for Tsukishima's brother. Now Tsukishima's brother, I liked his backstory. I thought it was good to explain why Tsukishima is the way he is because of his brother's shortcomings, basically. And it was so embarrassing because there's that scene where Tsukishima, as a kid, he realizes his brother is not a starting member. He's not even the ace, right? Like, he's not the ace, much less a starting member of the Karasuno team under coach like Ukai Sensei, right? And the fact that he got caught red-handed was so embarrassing. I think it wasn't the fact that like Tsukishima didn't find his brother lame for doing it. Well, he kind of did, but more than anything else, he didn't want to get to the point where he cared about volleyball so much that he would make a stupid or like a compromising decision like his brother did, right? Where his brother loved volleyball, but he wasn't good enough to make the starting team. So he lied to Tsukishima throughout their whole childhood, saying that he was the ace of Karasuno when he wasn't, right? So I feel like I don't dislike him. Like, I like him more than Narita, but okay, maybe I'll put Kinoshita down here if I'm like ranking them. Yeah, but I think he's like a C tier character. He served a good role for Tsuki's story. He is very supportive, very, very cute to see him cheer Tsuki on during the Shiratorizawa match. But other than that, you know, it is what it is. It is nice of him to allow or to invite Tsukishima to practice with college players, like college level players, because that'll give Tsukishima way more experience fighting stronger opponents, basically. And now we have Hinata's childhood friends, Izumin and Koji. They get D tier, both of them. I mean, like, they don't really have that much impact on the plot. They're just there to give Hinata people to bounce off of in the first episode or in the first chapter of the manga. It's nice to see how they support Hinata. Like, the fact that they come back during the Shiratorizawa match was very cute. I liked seeing that. I liked seeing them just like, you know, they're there for their childhood friend. It's like when you see your childhood friend again after so long and you're like, oh my god, what's up? And they can tell that Hinata has changed. They can tell that Hinata is not the same goofy kid that they knew in middle school. He has put in the work and he's become so much more confident in himself. And because of that, that's their role. Their role in the story is to basically benchmark Hinata from okay, this is where he was at the start of the show, and they comment on how much he's grown at the time of the Shiratorizawa arc. Yeah, basically. Next we have Keishin's friends. Tatsun gets I'm sorry, he gets a C tier, but Shimada gets B. Well, okay, wait. I won't rank Shimada yet, but Tatsun, he's a good supporter. Both he and Shimada basically are in a lot of Karasuno matches, and they don't really have as much impact on the plot. They're those two people. You see those memes where they're like characters in anime watching a sport explaining everything. That's their role in the anime. Their role is to just explain shit for the viewer or explain it to other people. There's that part where Tatsun explains to like 3 high school girls from Seijo watching Seijo, and I was like, that's kind of random, but sure. Sure, Tatsun. You're very helpful. He is very helpful though. He and Keishin and Shimada all help fundraise for Karasuno. So they have the funds needed to go and do stuff. They rent a van, I think, with the money that they raise. And they help advertise Karasuno's journey to the Tokyo Dome, basically. I want to talk about Shimada now because he is very underrated. I freaking love this guy. I think that it is so commendable that he actually takes the time to train Yamaguchi, right? Because Yamaguchi, he's just some random kid, right? Like, they played one practice match together in Karasuno, and that's about it for how much he like impacts the plot. But Yamaguchi goes to him and asks him to teach him the float serve, and he obliges him, and he becomes such a good, I guess I don't want to say father figure, a good sensei for Yamaguchi. He is basically like teaching Yamaguchi everything he knows. He's like, Yamaguchi's his protege, let's say. He's the Jedi Master, Yamaguchi's his Padawan, right? One of my favorite scenes in the manga sadly got cut out from the anime, and I hate that so much. Like, there's like the infamous episode that a lot of people talk about in Haikyuu season 4, where it has a lot of the animation errors. Off the top of my head, I think it's like episode 16, or no, sorry, 15? Episode 15, I could be wrong about that. But that's the one with all the stupid animation errors that people screenshot out of context, and also screenshot because they look really bad in the anime itself. But I don't care about the bad animation of that episode. What I care about is that they shortened one of my favorite scenes ever in Haikyuu. It's a small scene, but it's one of my favorites. It's basically like Yamaguchi develops this thing to help him calm down before he serves, where he looks at something in the distance. I think Shimada uses like a shopping bag at the beginning. Shimada uses a shopping bag at first to help Yamaguchi have a reset point. That's what it's called. He gives Yamaguchi a reset point to help him calm down before serving. But in the anime, it goes like this, right? Yamaguchi realizes that his reset point, which is like an exit sign in the distance, he can't see it anymore, and Yamaguchi then freaks out because he doesn't have his reset point anymore. But then out of nowhere, Shimada randomly shows up in the distance to give Yamaguchi his reset point, which is like a shopping bag, I believe. And Yamaguchi, like, that gives Yamaguchi the courage to do a really good float serve after that, right? Which, to any viewer of the anime, it's like a blink and you miss it moment, right? It happens so fast that you barely register that it even happened. I love that chapter too. Oh, thank you. I thought I was crazy for loving that as much as I do. But this is how it played out in the manga. Too bad we didn't get the full thing in the anime. I know, right? No, that's what I'm saying. I hate the fact that they cut that scene in the anime. In the manga, it goes like this, okay? Shimada, before Yamaguchi even goes up to serve, he's looking at Shimada's looking at Yamaguchi, and then he looks for Yamaguchi's reset point, and he realizes that it's being blocked. So Shimada runs all the way across the stadium, and then he he runs all the way just so he can give Yamaguchi that reset point. And that just shows how much Shimada loves Yamaguchi. You know, because until now, like, yeah, he was a good teacher to Yamaguchi, but that just shows his like care and how much he really respects this kid for like doing his I don't know, doing the best that he can. So I freaking love the relationship between Shimada and Yamaguchi. It's so underrated, but more people need to talk about this because they are freaking amazing. Yeah. And so is Shimada. Shimada's also amazing. One of the most underrated characters, underappreciated characters in Haikyuu. We have the principal. Like, what is even the point of the he's there for comedic relief. They knock his toupee off because it's so freaking obvious that he's wearing a toupee. That gets them in trouble, and Daichi is forced to like give Hinata and Kageyama an ultimatum to behave or leave. I do like that the principal shows up again in... Well, he shows up twice. He shows up once when, like, Nishinoya... He gets suspended for, I think accidentally... He pushes the principal into some important thing. I forget what happened exactly, but Nishinoya pushes the principal and gets suspended, and then the principal shows up during the Shiratorizawa match. He shows up during the Shiratorizawa match to cheer on Karasuno, right? Yeah. I respect that he goes so ham when cheering for Karasuno, so I gotta respect him for that. It just goes to show, like, he starts the series off as like a curmudgeon who is there to spoil the fun of this sports anime, and then he comes back and is like their number one fan. It's adorable. I forget his name, but this captain was the previous captain of Karasuno. He was like the third year captain of Karasuno when Daichi was a first year. I need to go like Google his name. Karasuno captain. Oh, Tashiro. Okay, so apparently this guy's name is Tashiro, right? The Tashiro also kind of gets... Well, do I want to put him at C or D? I'll put him at C for story significance. Wait, and then I should put Tatsun in C as well. Nah, you know what? Yeah, fine. Okay, Tatsun can go to C. Now, Tashiro, his role is to be basically... Unfortunately, he has the drive to be a good captain, but he doesn't have the skill. He's not as reliable of a captain as Daichi or Kurokawa, from what we can gather. He made a lot of big speeches, but the team the team wasn't really behind him 100%. It was kind of like a, oh yeah, sure, man, like, we appreciate you, let's go to nationals, let's go. But then the weight of reality came crumbling down when they failed against I forget if they lost against Shiratorizawa or some other team, but they lost pretty badly during Daichi, Asahi, and Suga's first year. So he wasn't the one to lift Karasuno out of its slump. That was Daichi. But he provided the inspiration for Daichi to become the captain that he was always meant to be. Well, Daichi was reliable from the beginning, but I think he learned a lot from Tashiro when he was the captain. Of like, you know, people would always laugh at Karasuno, and Daichi lived through that, but like, I don't know. I think Tashiro is okay. Kurokawa is basically in the same, maybe a bit higher than Tashiro. From what we can gather, Kurokawa was the most talented player of his grade. He basically like from what we can tell, like Tashiro shows up, these three are like, hey Tashiro, what's up? And then when Kurokawa shows up, Tanaka, Nishinoya, like Kinoshita, Narita, and Enoshita, they all bow and show their respect for Kurokawa. So Kurokawa is they know that Kurokawa is a very skilled volleyball player. But I guess the rest of his generation wasn't good enough to bump Karasuno up. They didn't have like a miracle generation like the first years of Karasuno to help bolster their team power, basically. But from what we can gather, Kurokawa was one of the best players in Miyagi before he got to Karasuno, but he just wasn't able to make... Karasuno did not become a powerhouse under his leadership. But he is a very respected player, so that's why I put him in C. Yachi's mom can also go into, I don't know, D or C. She only shows up for like one episode in season 2, where Yachi's trying to convince her mom to let her become the manager of the volleyball club. And Yachi's mom is very harsh. She's like, no, Yachi, look, if you're gonna do it, you have to be like completely, you can't half-ass it, because half-assing something when there's like people who are putting their all into it is just bad. Like, it's disingenuous, right? That's what her whole argument is to Yachi. But then once she realizes that her daughter really does have a passion for volleyball, she realizes that Yachi really does want to put her all into this endeavor, then she starts helping her out. Maybe I'll put her in C, because I'm remembering how like she helped Yachi design the poster of Hinata being like the little giant that helped Karasuno get donations that helped them fundraise for their nationals. So yeah, I guess like she can go to C, maybe down here. She is okay. And then this guy can go to D. Like, this guy's only purpose is to show that Karasuno does have diehard fans. Because at first you don't think he's a fan, right? But when you think about it, he is actually, because like when this guy shows up, he's constantly talking about how Karasuno has fallen. They've fallen from grace. They're not as good as they once were, basically. They're not as skilled, they're not as talented as they once were. He's kind of a hater, but he does show up to their matches, even if they're bad. So in that regard, he's actually a pretty big fan. I think Uka even mentions, like, oh, it's that guy again. Like, he recognizes him because he's always at a Karasuno game. That kind of reframes this whole character in the eyes of Daichi, Suga, and Asahi. Because at first they were like, yo, this guy's a hater. And then turns out he's actually like a pretty chill supporter. And once Karasuno actually wins, this guy freaks out one of the most out of anybody in the stands. He loses his shit. He takes off his hat even though he's balding. He's just so happy that Karasuno finally won. He is that guy who cheers for his shitty sports team even though they're bad. And he is that guy who is the most happy when they finally get a win. It's like all those fans who cheer for the Chicago Cubs before they won the World Series in, like, I forget, 2020, 2016, something like that. Basically, he's like a Cubs fan, yeah. Oh my god, I'm gonna be honest. My voice is tired from talking. I talked straight for like 2 hours at this point. Basically almost 2 hours I've been talking straight, and my voice is kind of tired. there's so much more characters to rank, but I feel like I'm gonna leave it there for today. I hate to leave you on Oikawa. But hey, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start with Oikawa next week, so you'll know exactly what it is. You'll know exactly where we are next week after I like finish, after I like start ranking them again. So I'm gonna leave it there because my voice is tired. Okay, this is more. I've talked more in this stream than I usually talk in my other streams, so there's that. I also need to make sure that this audio quality is good, so I'm gonna double check that later. But yeah, I guess thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for watching my stream. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I'll basically do the same thing next week. So look forward to that. And I'll also make like a condensed video ranking all of the characters as well after I'm done with all of them. Even though I still have a lot to go through. So let's see where that ends up. Okay, well, that's gonna be all for me now. I'm gonna go take a break and I'm gonna go rest my voice. So have a good rest of your night, everyone. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.